Good everyone. So we're going to do so many discussions so that we'll be able to catch up with the topics. I am done with the topics regarding the problems with the passage, with the force or with the power. We're now going to discuss the different problems with the passenger. So this we're going to cover two conditions today. So let's start with the first one. Okay, problems with the passenger. When we talk about problems with the passenger, we actually have several topics here to cover. But most of it will focus on the umbilical cord prolapse, multiple gestation, and the problems with fetal position, presentation, or size. Though I still be making a videos regarding this topic, but most of it I was actually able to have it for you as an activity, and that was the one that we're passing today. Okay, so umbilical cord prolapse and multiple gestation is the topic that we will be covering today. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Okay, if I may just add, these are examples of your problems with the fetal position. We have your occipital posterior position, bridge presentation, face presentation, your brow. We have your transverse line, the macrosomia in relation to the size. Then we have your shoulder dystocia and your fetal anomalies. Okay, we will be discussing this condition separately sa mga next videos and discussions natin. As I promise, we'll be able to tackle everything before the midterm exam. Okay? So please keep posted as I will be posting some of the topics, okay, for the some of the topics that will be covered for your quiz and exams. Okay? So let's start with your umbilical cord prolapse. Okay? Dito mga stop muna. Our topic for this is the umbilical cord prolapse. This is a common complication of pregnancy or during the labor and delivery, specifically as a complication also of other complications. I did discuss some of these concepts during your first grading exam in relation to several conditions such as short, premature, rupture of membrane, also known as short prom. I did relate this also to mga preterm labor condition. So basically, it is more on that discussions as well. However, mas detailed po ang makaka-discuss ang discussions na gagawin ko today. Okay, for the prolapse of the umbilical cord, let's go to the concepts first regarding this topic. Prolapse of the umbilical cord is related or a condition wherein a loop, so it's either a single or a double loop. Some instances, 4 loops. Okay, depende kung ilang beses umikot yung cord sa body parts ng baby. Okay, and pwedeng may cord, pwedeng may pag-ipit yun sa leg ng baby or pwede din na mawala. Okay. And the umbilical cord slips in front of the presenting part. So you see, in front of the presenting part, we are referring to the fetus. So the first part to go out of the vagina is supposed to be the presenting part of the fetus. Now, it depends now on what presentation or position that the fetus is into. So kapag yan ay cephalic position, then you would expect that the fetus should be going, the presenting part should be part of the head. Okay, depende na lang yan kung face ba yan, brow ba yan, or just simply the vertex position. Okay, so dapat po yun ang makikita natin. But in this case po, anong nangyayari? Okay, in this case, nagkakaroon tayo ng loop. The loop of the umbilical cord is the first part to be shown during the delivery process. Okay, the cord. Yeah, the cord can be compressed. The problem with this condition is that the cord can be compressed between the fetus and the uterine wall. Like for example, if this is our cord here, and this is the fetal head, and this is the uterine wall, then this is kasi pwede siyang maipit. So for example, this is the vaginal opening, ganyan ang itsura. Then pag ito yung fetal head, and this is the uterine wall, this is how it looks like. So basically, we have to establish the fact that the umbilical cord is the source of nutrients and oxygenation for the growing fetus. If it's compressed, means to say that the blood flow is also empty. Pag sinabi natin impede, nagde-decrease ng blood flow. So pag decrease ng blood flow ng umbilical cord coming from the placenta going to the fetus because it is compressed, what will be the effect? It may lead to decreased blood flow and decreased oxygen to the fetus. And if the fetus is receiving not enough oxygen, that will lead to fetal hypoxia. So fetal hypoxia, not only that oxygen will not be able to go to the fetus, but also carbon dioxide is unable to go back to the placenta. Bakit kailangan bumalik ng carbon dioxide sa placenta? For reoxygenation. Tama ba? Yes, because carbon dioxide out, oxygen in. Ganun sana mangyayari. But in this case, ano nangyari? Na-impede. That's why oxygen cannot go in the fetus and carbon dioxide cannot go out of the fetus. So pag may ipon ng carbon dioxide sa katawan natin, okay, dahil kulang ng oxygen, which is your fetal hypoxia, dadami ang carbon dioxide ng katawan. Pag dumami ang carbon dioxide ng katawan, carbon dioxide are acid by nature. Hence, the condition will lead to fetal acidosis. But now, how to confirm fetal acidosis? Kailangan natin kumuha ng blood. Paano tayo kukuha ng blood? Panitigan yung chordosynthesis. What is chordosynthesis? The aspiration of blood into the umbilical cord. Okay, I believe I was able to discuss that yata kung in first grading or during the first semester with my students. Okay? Now, let us continue. What could be the possible cause of this condition, sir? Okay, the possible cause of the condition are the following. Okay, what are those conditions, sir? Number one, we have your prematurity. From the word itself, prematurity. Let's go with the terms first, basic terms. Kapag sinabi natin age of gestation, we're referring to the age of the child according to the development. Tama ba? Pag sinabi natin age of viability, the child is past the age of viability, wherein the fetus can already live outside the mother's womb. What is that week? At least, how many weeks? Ano ulit? Sige lang, okay, mahiya. Sa classroom na ito, pwede tayong magkamali lahat. Kapag mali yung sagot, iko-correct natin. Basta ang importante na ipag-participate lahat. Whatever data you have in mind, you tell it to me. Pag hindi siya in relation or hindi siya akma sa alam ko, then we'll try to correct and check kung sino mas tama. Okay, but definitely, we are not going to we are not going to mark someone here na ay mali yung sagot. No. I encourage you to answer so that we'll be able to participate as well. Okay, kung sinabi natin age of viability, what is that age? At least how many weeks? 24 according to your EINC, isn't it? 24. Ibig sabihin, if the pregnancy is already about 24 weeks, the child can already live outside the uterus. But still, it requires what? Continuous assessment and intervention. Okay? So, yan po yun. So, prematurity, preterm babies have less space in the uterus, making the cord more likely to prolapse. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Premature si baby, ibig sabihin ba, nasa full size hindi. If the baby is not in the full size, how the space in the uterus, is it large or masikip? Malawang, tama po ba? Large. Kung maluwang yung space, possible kasi, pag nabiyak yung ating amniotic fluid, sudden gush of water, mas magaan po ang umbilical cord kesa yung baby. So, pwedeng ang maunang lumakas, yung umbilical cord, saka sumunod si baby. Yun, na-compress na. Ang tawag natin doon, umbilical cord prolapse due to prematurity. Okay? Age niya is below 37 weeks of gestation. Tama ba? Yes. Okay? Another one is multiple gestation. Multiple gestation. Kung sinabi multiple gestation, you are pregnant with more than one fetus, either a twins or a triplet. So the increase, kapag ikaw ay may multiple gestation, what is the amount of amniotic fluid? Increase or decrease? Increase or decrease? If you have multiple babies, what is the amount of fluid? Increase or decrease? Increase. Di ba? Kasi may kinalaman yung baby because part of the urine also mix up with the amniotic fluid and the body will try to adjust as well. Kaya mataas ang amniotic fluid natin. And that condition tinatawag natin polyhydramnios. Okay? Polyhydramnios. Tinatawag natin polyhydramnios. Sir, bakit delikado at prone sa umbilical prolapse ang may polyhydramnios? O imagine a container full of water. So pag pumutok yung bag of water, ano pa rin? The sudden gush of water would pull whatever is less heavy here, which is the umbilical cord. So para kang yung wire o yung cordon, nung nag-flush ka ng tubig, ang naunang lalabas, yung magaan. Because it goes with the flow. In this case, it's the umbilical cord, causing now your umbilical prolapse. So parehas kong rationale nila ni multiple gestation because multiple gestation may lead to polyhydramnios or the enlarged amount of fluids in the intrauterine cavity. What else? Abnormal fetal position. What is abnormal fetal position? For example, the patient is on transverse line. The transverse line, tapos yung cord niya pa nakaharap sa cervical os. Okay. Si ba, binasa nyo kahapon ang transverse line? Binasa nyo ba talaga? Pinapipaste nyo lang. Okay, diba? Nag-copy-paste lang. Si Julina nag-handwriting. O malamang binasa ni Julina. Meron. Sige, kayo naman na. Abnormal fetal position. Transverse line. Kama yan, transverse line. What else? Long umbilical cord. If there is a longer umbilical cord and artificial rupture of membrane. O ano na rin yung tawag natin sa artificial rupture of membrane? What is the procedure? Amniotomy. So amniotomy can lead into this condition. That's why you have to be very careful when you do your artificial rupture of membrane, commonly known as amniotomy. And multiple vaginal examination. Kaya wag mo namang ugaliin na i-eye siya from time. Wag ganon. Kailangan i-assess mo muna through observation and through other physical exam kung meron siyang indication that the labor is in progress. Hindi yung nung inaiis siya 15 minutes ago, 2 cm, after 15 minutes, inaiin mo na naman. Hala! Yung pala, ganda-ganda kasi ng pasyente niya, nawili ka mag-IE. Tapos, hindi ko ba alam kung bakit lalaki ka nandun ka sa CR. Nakakatakot yan. Vaginal exams and maneuver. Okay? So those are the etiologic factors. Not be the exact cause, but it contribute to the possibility of heat developing. Okay? So now, what are the 3 types of your cord prolapse? Cord prolapse can be categorized into 3. Number 1, we have your overt cord prolapse. Overt cord prolapse means that descends through the cervix into the vaginal canal after the membranes are ruptured. Okay? Descends through the cervix into the vaginal canal after the membranes are ruptured. So after na pag-rupture ng membrane, lumabas yung cord. Ang tawag natin dyan, overt cord prolapse. Meron din tinatawag na punic presentation. Punic presentation, loop of umbilical cord lies between the fetal presenting part and the still intact fetal membrane. Ibig sabihin, yung fetal membrane hindi pa nag-rupture. Pero you can already observe that between the fetal presenting part, okay, meron in between them, meron yung tinatawag na, yung in between niya, kung ito yung head, ito yung membrane, in between, nandun yung umbilicus. So expect mo na pag nirupture mo yan, magiging overt ang kaso natin. Ulit tayo? Yes. Okay. Sir, pwede ko ba makita yan through ultrasound? Yes. Okay. Another one, occult prolapse. Pag sinabi ng occult prolapse, cord is located alongside the presenting part, but it is not detectable by the examiner. Alongside, ibig sabihin, it goes side by side. So with the presenting part, that's the head. If this is the head, and this is the umbilical cord, pwede ba sabay sila lumabas? Pwede ba? Yes. Kasi sudden gush of fluids, yan, pwede niya ilabas. Or pwede din naman mauna si cord. Or kahit sila ay nagsabay, pwede pa rin ba yung maipit? O imagine, kung ito yung umbilical cord, at sila ay side by side, or your occult prolapse sa tinatawag, alongside the presenting part, if this is the fetal head as the presenting part, and this is the cord. So, nandyan siya. So, pag ito yung cervical opening, if this is the cervical opening, pwede pa silang sabay na lumabas? Yes. So, pag sabay sila lumabas, pwede pa rin bang maipit ito? Yes. Still, compression will take place, and the side effect, which is hypoxia, or the decreased oxygenation, would also take place. And the door opened itself. It might be the wind, am I right? Or it might be something else. Baka naman yung multo sa agency sumaba dito. Anyway, isasabay ko siya pabalik bukas. Am I right? Tapos, mapabaon ko kay Eunice. Okay? So, okay tayo dito. So, again, the overt, punic, and presentation. Overt collapse, na-rupture ng membrane. Punic in between the presenting part. Okay, and the membrane, pero wala pang ruptured membrane. Open naman side by side. The cord and the presenting part. Are we clear? Yes. Okay, now, what are the clinical manifestations then? So, these are the clinical manifestations, and please take note of them because these are the things that you need to assess. Okay, aside from the physical exam kasi na nakita mo may nakausli. Okay, ito yung mga dapat mong i-assess prior because this can be the signs. Okay, kasi sa loob pa lang, hindi mo pa na nakikita, pwede bang nako-compress na yung cord? Yes, kaya dapat mong i-check yung tawag natin variable deceleration in the fetal heart rate. Pag sinabing variable deceleration, again, deceleration, technically, it's a negative term. Tama ba? Yes, it's a negative term, deceleration. There is a failure to descend. Bakit kaya? Tapos yung heart rate niya, nag-spike pataas, pababa. So that could be a possible sign of fetal distress. And the variable deceleration is the most common sign of cord prolapse. Okay? So, where the cord is compressed and can be observed as a continuous heart monitoring is in place. Another one, which is one of the most obvious signs when you do your palpation, okay? Your observation and palpation. So, in some cases, the prolapsed cord may be visible during the vaginal exam, or the clinician may be able to feel the cord during digital examination. And for example, when you try to do your internal examination or your IE, pag bukas mo, ano ito? Pag may longganisa. Paano siya longganisa minsan? Okay, alam mo naman ganun siya ng cord, di ba? The white one, dapat ganito, dapat ba? Hindi man normal na kita yun. Wala ka nakikita, pero pagkapalo sa loob, ano to, parang may tali. Okay? Tapos may pulsation, no? So that is your what? Visible or palpable cords, okay? During your internal examination. During your internal examination. Another one is signs of fetal distress. Pag sinabing signs of fetal distress, alam niyo na ito? Abnormal patterns in cardiac rate. Tama ba? Yes, the fetal heart rate. So there's abnormal fetal rate patterns, including severe bradycardia may indicate a significant drop in the fetal oxygen level. And next is the amniotic fluid changes. For the amniotic fluid changes, the amniotic sac has ruptured and the presence of meconium in case of a fetal distress or other abnormal findings may be observed. May be observed. So, amniotic sac has ruptured and the presence of meconium in fetal distress is observed. You know what meconium is? It's the first poop of the baby. Sabi nga nila, di ba? So, kapag meconium delivery yan, automatic patient or the baby will be placed into antibiotic therapy. Kasi kailangan niya mag-antibiotic. Okay? Another clinical manifestation, we have your vaginal examination. Okay? Done if the fetal heart rate decelerates, suggests a cord prolapse, feel the umbilical cord observed protruding into the vagina. By the way, hindi siya clinical manifestation. Please change it. This is the diagnostic test. Should I say? I forgot to change it when I was editing it. So this is the diagnostic test. Number 1, vaginal examination. I was able to discuss it earlier. So kung nakita mo upon observation may naka-prolapse or upon internal examination, mararamdaman mo yung cord. Another one is fetal heart monitoring. This is to check with the tawag nating abnormal or decelerations, which is the first sign of cord prolapse as we have mentioned earlier. Ultrasound can also be performed in order to assess the position of the fetus and rule out other causes of abnormal fetal heart rate patterns. So, not typically used for the diagnosis of prolapse directly, but it helps to assess the position. Sir, anong significance ng position doon sa diagnosis? O, balikan natin yung risk factor kanina. Is abnormal fetal positioning one of the risk factor? Yes. And confirming the position of the fetus would also give you an idea na ay kaya pala nagpo-cord prolapse. Kasi yung baby was actually on transverse line. Or, by identifying that the fetus is on transverse line, you have to anticipate the possibility of delivering a child with cord prolapse. Clear tayo? So we know the signs and symptoms, you know how to diagnose it, what are the causes and risk factors, the definition of the condition. Let's go now to the next part, which is the management and treatment. Very important, the management and treatment, because these are the focus of the questions, not only in your exam, but also in your board exam in the future. So if in case that a cord prolapse will be asked in your exam later on, not just in the school, but also in the board exam, ito yung mga pwede nilang itanong sa inyo with regards to the management. Start with the management. We have several management, but this is the most immediate one. So, immediate repositioning of the fetus. So again, balikan natin. Lumabas yung cord. Pwede bang mag-descended si baby? Yes. When the baby descended in the cervical os, can it compress the umbilical cord against the uterine wall, causing now impediment in the blood flow? Clear tayo? Kaya, changing the position of the fetus is very important. Now, how to do that, sir? First step. So this is the first step in managing a patient with umbilical cord prolapse. Example, pumayang sa DR table, pag ganyan mo, may umbilical cord. Ano gagawin? Ito na. You immediately position the fetus. How to do that, sir? By repositioning the mother. Paano yan, sir? Number one. Okay, first step is to relieve pressure of the cord by positioning the mother in a way that reduces the compression. So, hindi mo basta-basta may position si fetus. But you can position the mother in such a way that according to gravity, the baby would also go down. Ano ang mga position na yan, sir? Example, number one, Nietzsche's position. Yeah. So, anyone who would like to demonstrate Nietzsche's position? Sir Ferran, gusto mo ito? Nietzsche's. Nietzsche's position, medyo, yuyo ko pala. Huwag na lang ko pa yung pain kasi baby ko. Baka magulan ako. Meron. Kasi ko na po, 36 months pregnant. Ano yun sa elevante? Nietzsche's position. Basically, your knee touches your chest. Medyo nakatuwad si nanay sa kama. Okay, patuwarin mo na. Nay, tuwad! Ganon. Nay, may umbilical cord prolapse. Tuwad! Sabi na, ay, tuwan? Saan talaga ba? Lalo pala madalas silang ginagawa ni sister. Kaya sanay pala siya tumuwan. Okay, next, ano ba? Trendelenburg position. So, yung mga beds natin, may Trendelenburg position yan. Ano yung Trendelenburg position? Yes, if this is the head of the mother, position mo lang siya, things are elevated, then the head is going down. But of course, this position should not be maintained for 24 hours. Dapat may kasunod na treatment yan. After positioning, immediate lang. Ibig sabihin, tanggalin na natin yung danger ng decreased oxygenation of the fetus while we are preparing for the next step. Kaya ang first step siya. Initial step para isalba si mother, lalo-lalo na si baby. Because take note, kapag ganito ang position, the presenting part of the fetus compress the cord. So when you position the mother in Trendelenburg or Nietzsche's, ang mangyayari, yung presenting part niya will descend going back to the fundus para hindi maiipit yung umbilical cord. Are we clear? Yes. Kaya ginagawa ang Trendelenburg position. Again, alam niyo naman siguro kung anong Trendelenburg position. Kung hindi, ang sabi nga nila, you make use of AI. You use your Google. Okay, pictures of Trendelenburg position are available at Google. Pero alam niyo yan, you were taught during first year. Trendelenburg position, tama? Kaya nga alam yung si Chopin. Ano pa? After ng Chopin, Proud position. Kung naituro niya sa inyo si Chopin at naituro si Proud, malamang maituro din si Trendelenburg. Iba naman po yung modified Trendelenburg. Yung modified Trendelenburg, flat on bed si nanay. Ang itinaas lang, paa. Hindi binaba yung ulo. Flat on bed lang. Modified Trendelenburg yun. Ginagamit natin sa mga shock patients. Okay, pag meron kang hypovolemic shock. But in this case, yung buong katawan ni nanay. Okay? Kasi ang problema nito yung paa, yung tiyan. Kaya dapat ibaba yung ulo na. Good tayo? Yes. Our bed is capable of positioning on that way. Okay? Another one, manual elevation of the presenting part. O, take note of this ha. Manual elevation of the presenting part. Presenting part, not the cord. Presenting part, not the cord. I believe I did emphasize this during your first grading. Okay? How are you going to do this? Use sterile glove hand to gently push the presenting part off the cord. Kasi baka malito kayo sa exam. Baka sabihin niya, push the cord. Wala akong tinurong ganon. Ang tinuturo ko, push the presenting part. Clear tayo. So kung ito po yung umbilical cord ni baby, nakalabas sa vagina, huwag yan yung ipupush mo. Ang ipupush mo, pasok mo, hanggang makapa mo yung ulo. Pag nakapa mo yung ulo ni baby, o kung wet man yan, kasi naka-bridge tayo, then push mo yun. Pasok mo lang. O, ER tayo, sa OR tayo. Habang nasa kaloob, OR. Huwag ganon, nakatangkot. Push mo lang, okay? To bring back the circulation sa inyong fetus. Clear tayo dyan? Are we clear? Yes, okay. Now, what are the other knowledge concern? Of course, after noon, yung first step natin, prepare na for emergency delivery. So, ano sabihin nyo ang emergency delivery? Kung choice natin dito. Yes, if fetal distress persists or the prolapse is significant, a cesarean section is a preferred mode of delivery to rapidly deliver the baby and minimize the risk of hypoxia. Minimize the risk of hypoxia. After that, kailangan pang ilagay sa ICU si baby. What is the ICU for neonates? NICU, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, because we have to monitor for any complications of hypoxia. Kasi may certain stage, okay? Take note ha, 15 seconds lang ay hindi makareceive ng oxygen ng utak. Mamamatay yung cells. Okay? Kaya kailangan po yan, okay? Next, since may hypoxia tayo, basta narinig sa hypoxia, decreased oxygenation, laging meron sa treatment si O2 administration. So for the O2 administration, we administer high flow of oxygen via mask, 10 liters per minute, to improve the oxygenation for both herself and the fetus. And next one, we are going to give the tocolytic agents. So tocolytic agents, this likely gusto natin ng contraction dito kasi nga naipit na si baby. Kasi compress mo pa dito contraction. So gagawin natin dito, reduce natin ang contraction using your tocolytic agents. Alam niyo naman yung mga tocolytic agents natin, tama? Examples. Ribotril. What else? Magnesium sulfate. Ano pa? Terbutaline. So reduce your activity and pressure on the fetus. Okay? So that is your emergency. Again, ano mauna? Positioning muna the fetus. Tama ba? Yes. Or you can actually push the presenting part. Then after that, emergency procedure or delivery preceded. Okay? Then oxygen administration. Okay? If in case that the cause of the problem is your sudden rupture of membrane, tas naubusan na ng tubig doon sa loob, we can also do your amniotransfusion. So amniotransfusion in some cases, if the prolapse is associated with variable deceleration due to oligohydramnios. What is oligohydramnios? Low amount of amniotic fluid. So may be attempted to cushion the cord and relieve pressure. Sa parang kwan, gusto mong palutangin ito si baby. Kasi si baby nakalutang yan sa amniotic fluid. Oh, di ba? Kaya actually we were born swimmers. Hindi ko ba alam kung bakit hindi ka na marunong lumangoy ngayon. Am I right? dapat marunong. Nakalimutan ko lang, i-try mo minsan ka ng Burnham Lake. Huwag kang magmalpas, huwag kang kaman, lumalong ka lang. Sir, lumulog na ako, basta, lulutang ka din. Pag di ka na humihinga. Tapos, so, sir, nabuhay ako! Infection ka naman. Alright. Sabi mga nagsiswimming na, sana yung pamasanay ko nila yung i-fix nila yung pwede talang palipon sa, parang sa mga lake namin sa US. May mga part kasi namin sa US na marami na magandang lakes there. Sa Pilipinas kasi medyo questionable yung lakes nyo dito. Like it falls of equalize and everything. When they drained the Burnham Choir, a lot of like plums, mga tubo galing sa mga hotels actually collected there. So, may ang daming citation noon. Katulad din sa Manila, ganoon din. Mga factory hotels doon, diretso pala yung connection nila sa Manila Bay, ganoon. Sa Pasig River. Kaya medyo nag-offline linis din sila doon, madami din na violation. Nag-violate ng million din yun, sinabi na. Kaya kasi nga, of course, natakot din sila doon sa nagpapatupad last time. Kaya pag hindi nyo mawasapagin yan, isa ako kayo. Wala na akong pakialam sa batas, ganoon. Isa ako kayo. Diba? Another one. Continuous fetal monitoring. When do you need to do this? Monitor the track heart rate patterns and assess for signs of fetal distress. So alam niyan, okay? Fetal distress. To assess for fetal distress. Okay tayo dyan? Okay, continuation ng management natin. Cover with sterile saline compress to prevent drying. For example, malaki or significant yung nakalabas na port, huwag mo na kayain nakabulang lang. Nakabuyang yan. Kailangan i-cover mo siya with sterile gauze. Yung sterile gauze dapat wet with saline solution. Kaya nakalagay yung saline compress. Okay, basically, it's a sterile gauze wet with sterile solution. So, ano yung gagawin yung sterile solution dyan? Normal saline solution. So, kuha ka lang ng sterile, ba? Pero dapat mag-gloves ka muna po. Pagkabukas na pag nag-gloves ka na, okay, paabot mo, pakiabot, please, gauze. Busan mo na, i-release solution. Tapos, i-cover mo siya dun sa umbilical cord. Why? Because the umbilical cord can easily dry out upon exposure to air. Kaya kailangan i-cover. While the baby, while the mother is being brought to emergency CS. But if your hospital is as good as my hospital before, in the US, we can easily convert the beds into becoming an OR table. So they can actually do OR or surgery in the bedside. May mga ganun tayong conditions. Okay, like for example, I think this was taught during your, are you done with your maternal skills? Yung CPR in pregnancy. Di ba yung CPR in pregnancy, naka-standby ang CS at the bedside. Standby CS yun. Yung CPR natin na mother, standby CS, hindi pwedeng buntis siya, okay? Or revive, hindi pwedeng ituloy yung pregnancy, kailangan na intervention. So standby CS yun. Kapag namatay kasi si mother during the CPR, bibiyakin agad si mother para huli yung baby. At least man lang, masalba natin si diba? Oo, yung alam niyo ba yun? Yung cardiac arrest in pregnancy? Kaya tinuruan kayo on how to perform cardiopulmonary resuscitation in pregnant women. Isn't it? Palos parehas naman, ang nadagdag lang is your LUD. What is LUD? Lateral, uterine, deviation. Ano ulit? Left lateral, uterine, displacement. Deviation. Takot naman yung deviation. Displacement. So basically, you're going to reposition the uterus towards the left side or right side? Left side. Kasi wag dito sa right, nandito ang inferior vena cava ni mother. Baka maipit, pwede siya mag-suffer to supine hypotension or your superior vena cava syndrome. Narinig niyo ba yan? Parang hindi na. Dapat ako yung nasik kaso Mr. Pasco is sick. I'm so sorry. Ako dapat nakasay na mag-lecture noon. Sinabi sa mga pagkakura, ako dapat nakasay mag-lecture noon. Kasi nga, I was just so sick, I cannot go to class. That's why I messaged. That's why Ma'am City Boots rescued me. Ma'am City Boots? Ma'am City Boots, galing ng ibang bansa niya. 12 years siya sa Saudi, nag-earn ng 100 to 200,000. Nagdala siya rin yun, di ba? May sarili siyang skills lang sa background. Dalawang quotes. Di ba? So, and the fetal blood sampling. For the fetal blood sampling, kukuha tayo ng what? Kukuha tayo ng blood sample in your umbilical cord. What is the process again? Chordosynthesis. Tama ba? Yes, we're going to get something or blood sample in your cord in order to detect kung may hypoxia para malaman natin kung si baby suffering from fetal acidosis. Delikado ba yun? Yes, it is a life-threatening condition that needs to manage immediately. Okay? Let's have a recap. Kung sinabi natin umbilical cord prolapse, when lumabas ba yung umbilicus? Lumagpas ng cervix? Yes. Pwede bang lumagpas ng vagina? Yes. Ang pinaka-best test pa rin natin is what? Internal examination pa rin. Ako ba? Ano yung common sign natin? Variable deceleration. Ako ba? Yes. Okay. Kapag confirm ang umbilical cord prolapse, ano ang una natin gagawin? Immediate repositioning. Tama ba? Kung i-reposition natin si fetus, kailangan ba natin i-reposition si mother? Yes. This is to decrease the effect of hypoxia, isn't it? Yes. Ano gagawin natin? The first test and the first position is knee chest. Pwede bang Trendelenburg? Yes. Then after that, pwede bang i-push yung cord? No. Dapat i-push ko yung presenting part. Yes. Para hindi ba ma-compress si umbilical cord? Yes. Then what? We are preparing for emergency cesarean section. Are we clear? Yes. Should you give tocolytic or uterotonics? Tocolytic. Relax or constrict? Relax. Relax the uterus. Are we clear? And expected na si mother ay masisiyas, ilalabas na si baby. Should you assess for fetal acidosis? Yes. Kasi nagkaroon ng hypoxia si baby. Are we clear? Yes, sir, malayo-layo yung aming OR. Pwede ko bang hayaan na nakabuyang-yang ang umbilical cord? No. Ano gagawin natin? Cover it with sterile saline compress. Diyan ba yung boss? Sterile or clean? Sterile. Mabasahin ko ng? Sterile or clean essence? Sterile. Wala naman kasing clean essence. Meron. Nakuha niyo po ba? Any question? Okay, we're done with your umbilical cord.